Bluegrass Breakdown Radio Show. We got nationally syndicated 3 times John Renshaw on the line with us. And I can't help, before we jump into some actual sports-related material here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Over the break, Tyler and I were talking about how great LouisvilleBigDeals.com really is. You know, I mean, it's just the greatest site I've ever seen. And kind of threw a little hypothetical at him. If you were, and I'll go ahead and ask Renshaw, if you were to be stuck on an island and you had the choice, you could either have your favorite porn site or you could have LouisvilleBigDeals.com. What would you choose?
Okay, so you mean by having LouisvilleBigDeals.com, you mean I would be able to order those things that are up there. I'd be able to get my $50 of cluckers, or I'd be able to get my tacos. I wouldn't be able to just look at the site, right?
Yeah, you would actually be able to enjoy all the beautiful rewards that come along with Louisville.
Yeah, there's no doubt that porn would finish second for sure. I mean, there's too many good things on LouisvilleBigDeals.com. I mean, there's all kinds of food. There's trips to Mexico. There's Maker's Mark. I mean, I've got 43 years of imagination for porn. So I'll take the chicken wings.
Not often that porn takes a back seat.
Not often. I don't like it. I don't like to be a part of it. I would rather, but I have to be honest and smart about this thing. Come on. And I love desert island questions. I mean, I think I could sit around with friends all night long and just bring up different topics and go off on. I love that kind of stuff. That's what I live for. That's a good question, bro.
Certainly doesn't feel natural to go away from the porn, but yeah, I'd have to agree.
You certainly aren't going away from it. You've mentioned it 4 times, but I'm a huge fan, and the thing is, you really have to have 2 computers, because if you're going to be, especially with you guys being such busy, hungry, active bloggers, you certainly can never afford for your site to go down, and I don't think you can ever truly 100% trust a porn site. Now, maybe rich guys like you have like just thousands of DVDs, and you just pop them in there and you're good to go. But lazy, poor people like me have a couple trusted sites, but I believe that all of them eventually slow your computer down some way or another. So it's almost like you have to have 2 computers.
You're totally right. Kelly actually came in and was like, should I get my laptop out of my car? And then he thought about it for a second and he was like, oh, I can't. I've downloaded way too much porn recently. And he didn't want it to pop up in front of me and me start calling him out.
My work laptop, too.
I don't even know how to download it. I don't even know what that means. I just know this 1 or 2 sites, and that's all I know. But I even mentioned it on the air maybe 3 weeks ago or whatever. It's like I've been non-interested, which is sad.
It
I
happens.
haven't gone to a porn site in a long, long time, like a month.
They're getting super dirty these days.
They're getting what?
They're getting really dirty these days. They're kind of throwing me off.
That's their job. That's their job, man, and they're doing it well.
Sometimes you do get in a little over your head, and you stumble upon something.
Literally.
Maybe you hadn't exactly bargained.
The categories are interesting. Whatever mood you're in that day.
Exactly.
Only a show like this, or maybe Renshaw's show, where you can talk about porn for 15 minutes.
Nonetheless, we'll get to the sports content. Sorry to throw you off there, Renshaw.
Again, we do have John Renshaw here. He's the host of The Freak Show on 1450 a.m. from 3 to 5, right, John?
Correct. 3 to 5 p.m., 1450, and then 1450, thesportsbuzz.com.
Yep, it's a great show. Everybody needs to check that out. Kelly, you want to go ahead and hop into a little topic here? A little baseball?
Sure. What do you think about the World Series? Saw that you are going for the Rangers. What do you think about who do you pick to win?
Well, I know it's weak, but I really don't have a pick because I think it's pretty much dead even. I do happen to live here in St. Louis, so I know a great deal about their team, and it is one of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen. They were 10.5 games out of the wild card on August 25th. I mean, that is absolutely insane. The season ended October 3rd, so to make 10.5 games up. And of course, it all happened on that one magical night where those 4 games all happened in 1 hour. The Cardinals' weakness throughout the regular season was their bullpen. I mean, it was so bad, it was laughable. But they found a closer in this guy named Jason Mott, and he comes in and shuts things down. Now, on July 27th, they traded for people like Arthur Rhodes, almost 50 years old, Rafael Furcal, Jeff Rapinski from Toronto. They picked up like 7 players on the trade deadline, all relative no names. I mean, Furcal and Arthur Rhodes are names, and they've all fit in. And then you talk about they have their road record. The Cardinals' road record is, if you look at it, the stats, and I'm not a baseball guy, I'm not a stat guy, but do a little homework on it. They play so well on the road, and then they match up well against the Rangers as far as that whole righty-lefty thing, which is another thing I don't like about baseball. But the Cardinals have just thick right-handed bats, and the Cardinals throw 3, and the Rangers throw 3 lefty starters. So if the two teams play the way they're playing right now, it's hard to go against the Cardinals but I don't think the Cardinals can keep this up. They've been too hot for too long, or they are going to keep it up, and they're a team of destiny. They are incredibly confident. I mean, just think of the confidence that you have of you came back 10.5 games. You beat the Phillies with the best pitching staff in modern day baseball. The Brewers, your arch nemesis, who won the division, you pretty much easily take care of them, and everybody's clicking. They got these role players. But I love freaking Texas. I love Napoli. I love Nelson Cruz. I love Josh Hamilton. I love Michael Young, who didn't do anything until the last game when they won like 17-2 there in the first inning. So I think we're in for a back and forth 7-game series. And as a neutral fan, and I'm not a neutral fan because I hate the St. Louis Cardinals. They're the Yankees of the National League. They're very arrogant. All across town, all you hear is, going for World Series number 11, and it is pretty amazing. 11 World Series, 18 pennants, but it's 11 and 11. That's all they're saying around here. But they're very arrogant. They think that they are the Yankees of the National League, and I guess they are. I mean, them and the Dodgers.
I hate them. I've always hated them. I'm a Reds fan, so I've been, we made the playoffs last year for the first time since I believe like 1995. So that was great. And then of course the Cardinals come, win the wild card, which I did say. I will say it again. I hate the Cardinals, but I picked them to win the World Series before they made the playoffs because they were, like you said, they were hot coming in. They made the playoffs. And now that they've already knocked out the best record in baseball, Phillies, now they knocked off their rival, the Brewers. I just don't think they're going to slow up, and they will take it in 6.
The way they're going right now, if the Cardinals play the way they are playing, I do think that they will win, and I agree with you. And I do think that it takes a man to put aside his hatred for a team and admit that the team that he hates is good, whether it's a Kentucky fan admitting that Louisville is good or vice versa. It certainly happens. It happens a lot more the other way around. It's the Louisville fan that has to man up and admit that Kentucky is good or better. I mean, I can't remember the last time that Louisville was better than Kentucky, and obviously it wasn't that long ago, the Billy Gillespie days. However, let's just pray for a 7. The magic of this whole time right now is like will be this weekend. On Saturday, you'll have college football all day, and then a World frickin' Series game. And on Sunday, you'll have NFL all day, and then a World Series game. And then in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, they'll be in Maui playing basketball at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. It's just around the corner, and so it's a great time of year, man.
Yes, it is. I gotta say, I mean, I really also am a Reds fan and dislike the Cardinals, but being a Reds and Bengals fan, embracing that the Steelers are awesome and I hate them, and that the Cardinals are awesome and I hate them, is just part of life. You kind of have to do
part of life. It's part of life. I hate the Steelers too as a Dolphin fan. The Dolphins are so far removed from what they were for the first 33 years of my life, which was a dominant member of the NFL and a dominant member of the AFC, one of the most feared, respected, proud franchises up till about 12 years ago. And we competed with the Steelers for that kind of respect. We were never the Steelers, but we were right behind them. Now we're nowhere near them. I respect the Steelers more than any team in sports.
I hate to admit it, but I agree with you. And my favorite part of the current Bengals, I told my brother, is they kind of remind me of the Steelers. And that just kills me to say it.
Hey, it's a compliment.
Yeah, they're playing defense, hard-nosed defense, and running the ball.
How do they remind you? I mean, I don't watch the Bengals that closely, so when I think Steelers, I think ferociously physical defense, don't beat yourself, clutch plays, and that's about it. Smart. Obviously, the word physical is, it's overused, but that's what the Steelers are is physical, run the ball, don't make mistakes. I mean, but these Steelers of this year
they're
don't
different.
Appear to be
they're different.
Don't appear to be too vintage. Yeah,
they don't have an offensive line like they normally do. They're relying on their talented Mike Wallace receiver.
He's great.
He is. But
I drafted the wrong one. Last year I drafted Mike Wallace, and he was just on the verge of breaking out. This year, for some reason, someone put an Antonio Brown whisper in my ear, and I went with him, and he's really done nothing. And I thought I was set, man, with Steve Smith, Brandon Lloyd, and Antonio Brown, Jamal Charles, Darren Sproles.
Ooh, Jamal.
And Tom Brady and Jason Witten. I just played in a PPR league, and Charles went down, and I could never get three of my wide receivers to show up on the same day. And now my season is just about over. I'm losing by 1 point twice, 2 weeks in a row. And with the Dolphins out and my fantasy football team out, I don't even know what to live for, to be honest. I mean, thank God college basketball is coming in, and my team is very disrespected.
Maryland, right?
We're not expected to make the tournament. We got picked 9th today in the conference. No. I'm happy with all of that because I think that we have a chance to surprise.
Now, what do you think of the, obviously Gary Williams is retired. What do you think of the new coach? I know you're a big-time Terrapin fan. I remember listening, to you back in the day and listening to the Rapid Fire, everybody giving you shit, show in and show out about Maryland. But I've always respected Maryland. I've always thought they're a top program because of Gary Williams. And when I saw that he did retire, it was kind of like, oh, here comes the beginning of the top-tier older coaches, leaving the game.
Right, well, definitely top-tier older coach leaving the game. It was a surprise to me. He is old. He just married a nice young freshie, so I think he wants to go out and enjoy 10 years of vacation time with her instead of playing. I love Turgeon. I've been a Turgeon guy for a long time. I live with a girl from Kansas, so I watched him coach at Wichita State, watched him turn them into a Sweet 16 team, watched him replace Gillespie and turn Texas A&M back into a Sweet 16 team. I love everything about him, and I'm very excited about this year's team. We have an incredible amount of talented guards. We're just real weak down low, but we've got the bodies. They're just unproven, very unproven. So it's this big, huge waiting game. But we're nowhere. We have nowhere near the talent that you guys have. I mean, nowhere near, obviously, since we're not even picked to go to the tournament and you're picked to go to the finals.
Well, Renshaw, if it's all right, I'm going to ask you a question about.
Now, remember, Kelly here's the Louisville fan, so every time you shoot Louisville, you shoot him in the heart a little bit. I'm the diehard Kentucky fan, along with Matt.
I'll shoot you both, man. The Walking Dead, the end of The Walking Dead on Sunday night. A little boy was there, and
that was
the bullet came and it hit the deer and it hit the boy too. But
it's messed up.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk some hoop, man.
Okay, this is just a question because you bring a little bit more of a national perspective to things for me. One of the things I've been wondering is, what do you think about the value? Obviously, football in all this conference realignment, football is what matters. My question to you is, do you think the fact that Louisville has some very strong non-revenue sports, is that what sets them apart from Boise State? Because Boise State, to me, has a stronger football program, but they're not garnering any attention from the Big 12. What do you think of that?
Yeah, what's the nutshell of your question? Because someone dialed in there in the middle.
Oh, no problem at all.
Football makes things go.
Well, then why isn't Boise State going to the Big 12 over Louisville? Does Louisville, the fact that Louisville has strong non-revenue sports, does that really matter? I mean, why is Louisville getting attention for possibly going to the Big 12 over Boise State is my question.
Well, maybe geographics, maybe the Big 12 says, hey, we've got enough football history. Let's bring in a team that has, 6 Final Fours in Louisville.
Okay.
Geographics, I think, would be the whole expansion thing is stupid. It's disgusting.
You hate it.
It's demoralizing. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It's a broken puzzle on an acid trip. It's impossible to clarify, justify, ratify, and I want nothing to do with it. But what I'm shocked about is how Louisville has not been swallowed up by the Big 12. That's what I thought would be perfect for them to go to. But when you look at Louisville's geographics, and the same thing would be true for Kentucky, but obviously Kentucky's not going anywhere, Louisville is right there. If they're keeping things geographically consistent, Louisville can go 3 or 4 different ways. It would not be absurd for them to be in the ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big East, Big 10. All of it, because they're Appalachia. They're right there. It's part East Coast, just 4 hours from St. Louis, exactly. It's a 4-hour drive, and St. Louis is the capital of the freaking Big 12. Nashville, 4 hours, you're in the SEC. So instead of fighting to stay in the Big East, if I were Louisville, I'd be fighting to get out of the Big East and in the Big 12 or the Big 10. But, there's a different rumor every day. I've become so bothered by it. It's like, look, when it's final, tell me the frickin' news. If it's another stupid rumor, if you want to go do that all day long, then go ahead. You do it. That's cool. Talk to me when it's final.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. And not to keep you too long, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. But I just to throw this out there real quick. I know you have no idea that your buddy Matt Jones, everybody's buddy Matt Jones. He did one night at a restaurant. Freak. He didn't tip me when he was with a party at Stack's Roadhouse.
Ooh.
He did not leave a tip along with his table. I was pissed.
Well, I'll give him a tip. He's a freaking asshole. But I waited tables all my life, and if he was with a big party and you didn't, you have the option to lay down that, usually a party bigger rate, you can include the tip in there, or you can
the gratuity,
trust the group is going to tip you. Exactly. And you go ahead and you trust the group. You don't lay down that automatic thing on there, and they do that to you. It's just cold.
I will give him the benefit.
I just can't wait to see the Kentucky basketball team play. I mean, as much as I hate the coach, I hate him worse than he's pretty much tied with everyone across the board, from Glenn Beck to Nancy Grace to Joe Buck to anyone, Chris Berman, anyone I can think about. I can't think of anyone I hate more than John Calipari, but I don't hate his players. And I do hate a large percentage of the Kentucky fan base, a large percentage of it. There's no question. They make me sick. They don't believe that anybody else exists. They don't believe that anyone else deserves to exist. But this Anthony Davis cat, and he's the only one that I really caught a glimpse at, because I can't wait. I'm glad that I haven't seen Michael Kidd-Gilchrist or Marcus Teague play yet, because I feel like everybody else has already seen them. I've still got 2 Christmas presents to open, and I really haven't seen Anthony Davis. But Anthony Davis's body and growth spurt, which means obviously he still has guard skills. I just can't wait to see him play. Put it that way. I'm very excited. I enjoy rooting against Kentucky. It makes the rest of the SEC exciting, especially those Auburns and LSUs, Ole Miss. I mean, put me to sleep. At least Vandy and Florida and Tennessee have been good of late. But it's almost as fun to root against a team as it is to root for your team, because there's many times where your team stinks. So I root against Kentucky every single game, but I enjoy the talent they have. I can't believe Terrence Jones came back. I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was ready for the NBA, but I didn't think he had the head to stay in. But I'll never forget, man. Typical Calipari, when he chose Washington, and then 5 minutes later his phone rings.
Yep.
Holy cow, man! I want, and excuse the pun, but I really want to know what. Here's what I would have said if I was Calipari, dude. You're never going to be on TV. You just made a huge mistake.
That's what he
We're
said.
on TV every single freaking night. No one is ever going to see you in Washington. I've got 5 players going to the NBA every year. You were using your heart, not your head. Get down here. You're going to be on ESPN 2 nights a week. Maybe in Washington they'll see you once a year. But that's what I would have said. I don't know what he said. He probably just said the money's in the mail.
Come on now, come on.
No. That doesn't. Never in the history of Kentucky.
Yeah, you're exactly. Never, Eddie Sutton.
Well,
yeah, never.
But it's going to be fun, man. I grew up a Carolina hater. That's my main arch rival.
December 3rd.
And I grew up it's not only regular season, but everyone's projecting them to meet in the finals. But we all know that that's a crapshoot. But
there's no doubt that this is a great college basketball season. A lot of great teams.
Yeah, I'm very unstudied on it, to be very honest. But yes, Syracuse is supposed to be awesome. Obviously, Duke is supposed to be awesome. Florida is very, very good this year, supposedly. As is, Vanderbilt, Pitt, and Georgetown are supposed to be very good. UCLA is quickly on the way back. I love Sean Miller at Arizona. I think Memphis is a team on the rise. Obviously, Connecticut is a very, very, very dangerous team. A sleeper team that I have to play in Puerto Rico, and I say in Maryland, is Alabama.
Really?
Because Anthony Grant is such a great coach. Mark Godfrey just wasted that team. They were a joke under him, and NC State will be a joke under him too. But watch out for Alabama.
JaMychal Green, he's a beast.
JaMychal Green is a beast. And there's so many small schools now. But whatever. It's the last great sport that is still alive with a little bit of royalty and tradition and genuine love left. I mean, the AAU dirt definitely tarnishes it, but it's beautiful. It's the perfect sport. 20 minutes, and the rivalries are just so great. I love it so much more than any other sport. Nothing even comes close. And of course, the way you guys love Kentucky and Louisville is the way I love the ACC in Maryland, and I'll be on with you guys anytime you want, man. It's going to be a great year.
It's going to be an awesome year. We really, really thank you coming on, John. It was fun having you on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, again, John
You
Renshaw
got it, man.
with
You got it anytime, fellas.
All right, man. Well, again, that's John Renshaw, host of Freak Show at 1450 a.m. Catch him 3 to 5 weekdays. This is a Bluegrass Breakdown radio show. We'll be right back.